2025, we are witnessing it is month of April and temperature is going high and water emergencies are being imposed across. Why we are short of the water?
It's now about third week when the Pakistan Meteorological Department declared a drought in Pakistan. Today, we are formally going through a drought spell. And this is not an ordinary drought, by the way. So this is a serious situation we are talking of. And amid this situation, today, barrages and canals of Sindh are receiving 50% of its allocated water. Recent report on the 22nd March and the World Water Day was being observed.
Exactly.
UNESCO released a recent report, which is actually very alarming for Pakistan.
What did it say?
It says that the Hindu-Kush-Himalaya region is heading towards a long-term drought. We use water very recklessly, very irresponsibly.
What is the actual story of these 6 canals?
You said construction is yet to begin. Actually, 3 of them are already constructed.
3 of them?
Yeah.
Out of 6?
Out of 6.
Why we have not paid attention on construction of new water reservoirs?
The long-term planning need to revisit everything the way we have been doing it for our last decades.
Whatever are our available institutions, do they have capacity to tackle this very, very alarming issue?
Unfortunately, our water managers have failed us in water management. That's why we have landed the crisis.
Don't you think so? The World Bank has never sensitized Pakistan about water priorities and building more water reservoirs and how to manage water resources, because the World Bank has one of the best research and development teams.
I think first that we should not rely on IMF and World Bank, anybody to come and tell us that what we have to do. We should think of our future ourselves.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, Pakistan is primarily an agriculture country. And when we talk of agriculture cannot be developed without water. Water is the lifeline, not only for humans, but also for agriculture, also for animals, also for all types of habitat. So a country like Pakistan, over the past many decades have been facing acute shortage of water. And as far as water resources in Pakistan are concerned, one of the biggest source of the irrigation water is Indus River. Other than Indus, there are other rivers, but as far as water flow in these all rivers are concerned, day by day that flow is decreasing. Currently in 2024 and 2025, water shortage has become one of the severe issue in Pakistan. And when I'm talking to you, the provincial and federal governments are issuing water emergencies. Punjab government has already enforced this particular thing. But from grassroots level, I mean from those who are running car washing centers or shops, things like that, they will be penalized. They are being sensitized that recycle the used water. So on the other hand, there is another issue of new 6 canals which are under consideration, and these canals are likely to be built on Indus River. And on this particular under consideration project or proposal, people in Sindh are protesting that their share of water in Indus River is already very low. So with the construction of these 6 canals, Sindh will be deprived of the major share of water. So where we are heading as far as water is concerned, why we have neglected water management in the past, why we could not build more water reservoirs, and what is the future of water in the region. To discuss this strategically important topic, we are fortunate to have with us Mr. Naseer Memon, who is internationally recognized expert as far as water resources are concerned, continuously share his ideas through wonderful columns and articles in one of the leading newspapers, and have been working with very prominent national and international organization as far as development sector, water development sector, and these. Mr. Naseer Memon, very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English. We'll start this 2025. We are witnessing it is month of April, and temperature is going high, and water emergencies are being imposed across. Why we are short of the water?
Thank you, Mateen sahab. It's now about third week when the Pakistan Meteorological Department declared a drought in Pakistan. Today, we are formally going through a drought spell. And this is not an ordinary drought, by the way.
Okay.
The Met Office says it is a flash drought.
Flash drought.
Flash drought. Flash drought is the further severe form where you have less than normal rainfall. And that is further complicated by high temperatures that actually evaporates the soil moisture as well. So this is a serious situation we are talking of. And amid this situation today, barrages and canals of Sindh are receiving 50% of its allocated water at Sakha barrage. And some of the canals even actually experiencing 70% shortages. The government of Sindh's irrigation department has formally announced not to be sown, no crop to be sown in April because
there is no water.
We don't have water. And what Indus River System Authority, a few weeks ago, only I think 2 weeks back, it formally said that we just have enough water for drinking. So there's no water. And
we have only water for drinking.
That's what has been reported, officially speaking. And it says, the farmer advisory says that in April, we'll have a shortage of about 43% at least. It later on reported as 51% shortage in Sindh and Punjab. So it's a serious situation. And I'm not talking of only April. Let's hope that things turn better in May and June. Because if by mid-April, if you don't receive a good amount of rainfall, our agriculture, particularly in Sindh, where Kharif arrives earlier than Punjab, it will be at a serious risk. Its production, its outcome will be at a risk. So this is the situation we are talking today.
So as far as our rivers are concerned, including Indus and these all rivers, most of the rivers come from, of course, as you know, sources India, our Himalayan region, our Hindu Kush are these places, including Indus. So as you said, particularly in Barani areas in Pakistan that are dependent on natural rain. But of course, these rivers, this Jhelum and Ravi and this Indus and Kabul and these all have also been a very important source of irrigation. So what is basically, other than rain, what are the other sources of water flow in the rivers?
Our rivers are basically dependent on glacial melt.
Glacier melt.
Yes. The Himalayas Hindu Kush region where these Indus
glacier melts and generate water, and then ultimately
exactly that glacial melt generates water that flows into river through numerous streams. It's not a single stream that originates
hundreds and thousands of streams.
Thousands of that small stream, and that actually then that formulate the small river streams and then tributaries and then tributaries, and finally it becomes Indus. And then other big rivers, they are all actually called Indus River System. Remember that. All these rivers, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, whatever, they ultimately flow into Indus at Panchnath. So below Panchnath, we have a single river. So that's why it is called Indus River System. We call the Indus River System Authority. It's not Indus River Authority. It's Indus River System Authority. Because all these are tributaries of Indus. Now, this Hindu Kush Himalaya region, if you look at the recent report on the 22nd March, and the World Water Day was being observed. UNESCO released a recent report, which is actually very alarming for Pakistan.
What did it say?
It says that the Hindu Kush Himalaya region is heading towards a long-term drought.
My goodness. It is a UN report.
It's a UN report. It says this region, its melting pace is higher than all other regions, higher than all. The last 10 years melting pace was 65% higher than previous decade.
Okay.
So you can imagine the rapid the melting which is occurring. Now, what is going to happen after maybe 2, 3, 4 decades when you won't have water coming from glaciers? Our rivers, at least 70 to 75 or 80% are actually glacial and snow melt.
Snow melting.
Glacial and snow. If you have good amount of snow, you get some water. Other source, as you said, rain is a very small contribution, maybe 10-15% or so. This year again, if you look at the snowfall data, we call it precipitation with snow and rainfall. If you look at the last 10 years data, in 5 years out of these 10 years, snowfall was below average of 10 years.
It was below average.
It was below average. So the whole prognosis and the future outlook is not really favorable. We have to treat water very diligently and responsibly. We cannot just throw the projects that construct this dam and that dam and the canals. Canals and reservoirs, everything needs water. You need water.
Exactly.
So first, you need to have, you know your water budget. It's like a home budget. Whatever you have to spend, you have to look at the income. So this is how the rivers, the dams and barrages and canals are worldwide, globally projected, are actually planned.
There is another trend across Pakistan everywhere, from agriculture to residential societies. People are extracting water from different methods, through solar panels, by digging out wells, by making borings and under the soil. So also share something, how much water is available under the soil?
Ask anyone in Lahore and Islamabad. They will tell you that over the last 2-3 decades, water table has gone down by dozens of feet, not few feet. Quetta has been projected as perhaps a ghost city. Let's hope not, but this has been projected. Ask anyone in Islamabad. You live here and you ask, people will tell you that how much the boring
water level is.
This water level is depleting. We have less amount of rainfall over the years.
That is a major source of...
That's a major source of recharging.
Recharging,
right?
That's very right word.
Now, we don't have new rainfall to recharge. We are depleting whatever amount of water we have available. Our population, when Pakistan was created, it was about maybe 30 million or maybe so. Now we have
250
million. You are 7-8 times more. And we use water very recklessly, very irresponsibly. Now, digging a borehole is not permitted anywhere in the world. Anybody can go and go for the tube wells and hand pumps. It's not so easy in other world.
There are restrictions and regulations.
There are regulations. Again, there is the water budget. The groundwater hydrologist will tell you, all right, in this catchment area, this much amount of water is replenished over the last 10 or 2 decades, and you can only withdraw this much amount of water. It's like your bank account. This much money you have, you can take out this much money. If you take more, soon it will be without money.
Exactly.
So it will extract more water.
Account will be empty.
Exactly. Amount will be activity, but it will be of no activity. It will be a dormant account. So is your groundwater. If you extract more, and unfortunately, now we have hundreds of thousands of tube wells.
Across Pakistan.
Across Pakistan. Perhaps more than 1 million alone in Punjab. And we are promoting our political leadership, go for the big fanfare events that the solarized tube wells are being offered. Now, solarized tube wells, all right, but have you done any water budgeting in that area?
True.
Or just for a good, nice photograph and inauguration ceremony, you are doling it out. So the groundwater is a serious challenge to us. We are mining our fossilized water even. Water is for generations. It's not for today only. So I think government need to regulate it very diligently, very responsibly, and it's not happening, unfortunately.
Naseer, Memon Saab, there is another hot issue in Pakistan which is being discussed in Parliament, in National Assembly, in Senate, in Provincial Assembly of Sindh, and it's almost in every analysis on radio, television, newspaper. That is the construction of 6 new canals on Indus River. Although construction is yet to begin, but there is so much hue and cry. What is the actual story of these 6 canals?
You said construction is yet to begin. Actually, 3 of them are already constructed.
3 of them?
Yeah.
Out of 6?
Out of 6. This project came to the fore in the public domain. So far, I'm concerned, I didn't knew it before last July. Apparently, a meeting minutes came out that in the last July, there was a meeting happened in the President House, President Office, where he was briefed about agriculture and water and the green revolution kind of stuff. And then he was told that 6 strategic canals, they were called strategic canals.
Strategic
I don't
canals.
know why it was labeled, but they were called 6 strategic canals. So these need to be completed on the fast track. Now, when you look at those canals...
And where these canals are in the planning located?
Yeah. Say starting from Balochistan, Kachi Canal, which is already constructed.
Already connected.
Way back when Musharraf was ruling the country, he started that project. Then the Chashma Right Bank Canal is already built. more than 2-3 decades. Rainy Canal in Sindh that was already built during the Musharraf's era. There could be the future phases of these projects. But essentially, canals are already constructed.
Okay.
The fourth one, which is planned as an off-taking canal from Rainy Canal, is called Thar Canal.
Thar Canal.
And Sindh says
this is under consideration.
This is under consideration, one of those 6 proposed canals. And the Sindh says we do not have water for Rainy Canal even, because 1991
we do not have water for Rainy Canal.
Because 1991 accord, it specifies that which canal will get how much water. At that time, Rainy did not exist. So there was no allocation for that canal. And it was just on the whim of Musharraf Sahib, it was constructed. Now, you don't have water for Main Canal, you want to take off another canal. For what? So since said we don't have water for Main Canal, we can't do Thar Canal.
True.
Next come to another most contentious canal. One is called Chobara Canal.
Chobara Canal.
Chobara. Which is
where?
It is in Punjab, which is phase 2 of Greater Thal Canal. Remember when Greater Thal Canal was being constructed, Sindh was resenting that, and there are 2 provincial Sindh assemblies, 2 resolutions are on record. In 2001 or 2003, I don't remember the year actually, but there were 2 resolutions against that canal. Now, new phase has been added into it.
True.
And then the entirely new canal, which I think is the serious challenge, is of Cholistan Canal. The Cholistan is not just one canal. It's a huge, ambitious project.
With number of canals on the main canal.
Exactly. It says on Chenab in the long term, the plan is to construct 3 reservoirs.
3 reservoirs?
3 reservoirs. And then a network of other canals put together. The targeted command area is 6.6 million acres. Imagine, this is a huge undertaking. In a time where we don't have water to drink, practically speaking. You tell, and canals do not have actually drinking water now. Courts are saying you can't wash your cars. I don't know, next year they may say that, don't wash your faces.
There was ordered by the court.
The Lahore High Court.
Anyone who might be washing cars outside home
penalized,
or in the car washing centers will be penalized.
Because we do not have enough water. Now imagine amid the situation, we are talking of 6.6 million acres new command area. It makes hardly any sense. It's not practical. So that Cholistan Canal is a small component of overall scheme. Please keep that in mind. The overall scheme is Greater Cholistan, which is another component, smaller Cholistan. And both schemes put together target 6.6 million acres to be irrigated for corporate farming. Now, corporate farming needs assured round-the-year flow. It can't be on the flood flow that has been initially planned.
Round-the-year flow
Round-the-year flow, because you can't rely on a flood. If there is no flood, then what?
And you can't rely around the clock and round the year on rain.
That's also, we are an arid country. Let's not forget, we get rain only during monsoons.
True.
So I think that the basic thing for any corporate or even small farming, you need 2 things. You need land, you need water. The claim is that we have land. Now that land is sandy land. In barren sandy areas in Cholistan or even Thar, this whole area is desert. Irrigating and constructing canals in the sandy hill, and there are dunes. It's not a level ground.
It may not be feasible at all.
It's not feasible. It will take several times more water compared to the normal clay soils where you grow your agriculture. So I think there are engineering questions, there are social questions, there are financial questions even. To me, this is not practically a viable or a feasible project.
Coming to this, another issue, biggest issue in Pakistan, in which Pakistan has been far behind. If we compare Pakistan to other countries, the construction of new water reservoirs, dams. We are only 2 biggest dams. One is Tarbela and the other one is Mangla, where water level is, as you said, it's gradually going down, depleting. So although there are other dams in Wasag, then in Punjab there are small dams, then in Balochistan and things like that. But why we have not paid attention on construction of new water reservoirs? Pakistan witnessed floods twice, 2010 and then in 2022. So that flood water, if we had water reservoirs, all that water could have gone and could be preserved in those water reservoirs. So why we have been neglecting this construction of new water reservoirs?
We had a flood in 2010. 2022 was not a riverine flood.
It was flash flood.
It was flash flood coming from the mountains mostly came from Balochistan and partly from Sindh Khirtha region, which is bordering Balochistan, and there were abnormal rainfall in Sindh. So no dam would have actually helped us. This is not possible. For dams, you need, again, you can't leave dams empty. Today, Tarbela is at dead level. Bangla, almost at dead level. Chashma, almost at dead level. Dam construction's principle is water availability for 80% of time. That 80% of time, say, if you take data of 100 years, you can only construct a dam when you had surplus flows available during 80% of time. Now, generally we say, okay, there was a huge flood in 2010. Hypothetically, if you had a dam today, like 3 other dams, it would have been dry. So what do we do of that dam? The practical approach is we need to go for conservation, not for big irrigation new engineering projects. Conservation. Pakistan's water losses are 40% at least.
40%.
40% are
water
seepage losses, 20% are evaporation losses.
20% evaporation
and 40% is seepage losses.
Seepage.
All right, you can't stop evaporation. You are living in a dry and arid area. It is natural. You can't stop it, perhaps.
Okay.
But for remaining 40%, let's assume that some of it is an essential requirement
seepage through canals, through different
canals,
things.
through riverbed, through farms,
exactly.
through field channels. Now, part of it is required because then you have to recharge your groundwater and then you can use it. But this is only part.
That recharging is also not taking place.
That is not taking place because most of land, particularly in Sindh, has saline groundwater. So whatever fresh water seeps down gets salined. So Pakistan needs, when you said 40% of water losses, on an average, suppose it will come close to 40 million acre feet. Taking normally around 100 million acre feet, 95 to 100 million acre feet. If I say, okay, you can save, say, 20 million acre feet, we are talking of 3 Kalabagh dams.
3 Kalabagh
dams? Because Kalabagh was close to 6.5 million acre feet storage. Your pitcher is broken. You don't want to repair it. You want to fill it again.
My goodness.
So the broken pitcher will never be filled. I think Pakistan needs 2 things. One, to conserve the water, you have so much of bad, old agriculture practices where land is just flooded like a sheet of water. World is now using every single drop.
Exactly, recycling.
Recycling, they are conserving, there are new technologies. So you don't have luxury to waste water like this. A second thing we need, increasing our water and land productivity.
Water and land productivity.
How much crop we produce through X amount of water and X acreage of land. This is the parameters to be compared with other countries. We have the lowest water productivity in this region. I'm not comparing with China and other countries which have far bigger. Even comparing with the neighboring countries, our average production is less than those countries. We have several issues. Why not we fix it? The Zari Tarqiyati Bank, its official report says, our current productivity is hardly 38% of the real potential. So with the same amount of land and water, not new canals, not new reservoirs, not new land, we can actually produce more with whatever we are producing today. We need, for example, anybody has discussed that why we need to grow sugarcane, rice and cotton? These are high delta water crops.
Which consumes
these 3 crops and plus
cotton, sugarcane, rice.
Rice and adding wheat, they consume about 80% of our water. So if we are heading towards a long-term drought condition, the nations have to plan for decades and centuries, not for a few years. So perhaps we need to revisit our cropping pattern.
So then what should be done?
I think we need to shift for the projects which are not water thirsty, could be water thrifty.
Water thrifty.
Yeah, that consume less amount of water. So that would be the whole.
Could be done through technology?
With technology, better choice of crops. There are crops who consume less water, then you can maybe import something else. Other than if you don't have sugar cane, you can import maybe sugar.
Okay.
But that water could be used for maybe vegetables, for some other crops. So this is, I think country needs a new master plan for agriculture of Pakistan. We need to really rethink our current agriculture processes, practices, choices of crops and everything, rather than fighting on the available scanty water. Why people should fight on this water? Why we don't plan it in a better way? So I think the long-term planning need to revisit everything the way we have been doing it for our last decades.
Do we need a charter of water? Like in the past, we have done charter of democracy. Do we need to bring all the political parties on one page, consensus? There should be policy, consensus policy, and all parties, because definitely parties are from Punjab, KP, from Balochistan, Sindh, and their consensus is required that these emergency things need to be done. So, your thoughts?
So, you are talking of hydro charter.
Yes, hydro charter, water charter, sensitizing people, provinces.
I think these things, unfortunately, the critical debates are absent from our political landscape. Missing completely.
Priority.
No priority. We are talking of who is behind the bars, who is in the court, what is happening. Though all these things are also important. Politics is very important. Constitutional cases. But I think our very survival, a country which solely or largely depends on agroeconomy, its main thing is actually water. That is our lifeline.
And no party is paying attention to it.
And people are just fighting on it because of ill-conceived...
Politicizing, basically.
Politicizing and ill-conceived projects, not looking at the long-term future. As I said, that we are just whimsical. We think something today sparks in our mind, we want to let it happen next day, not thinking of the long term. So this whole paradigm, we are facing climate change challenge. World is facing it. Whole world is revisiting its development paradigm. How this water-dependent economies have to think through for future decades. This is something where rather than fighting, we need to realistically take stock of everything. Of our water, of our land, of our crops, and modern technologies, how we can apply what is called climate smart agriculture. This is now being debated world over. Climate smart agriculture.
Climate smart agriculture.
Exactly. If you have less amount of water, then water cycle has been changed. We used to receive snowfall in maybe December and January. Now we don't get it even in March and April. So this whole pattern has now shifted. Has changed. Is today, first week of April is over, Sindh needs water for its sowing, and we are receiving less than 50% of water. So what to do? These are the critical questions that need to be debated. Experts, scientists, international, the organizations who are working on these issues. We need to seek help from everybody and to really think that what is realistically possible. Is a canal realistically possible? Is a dam realistically possible? Or we just have a desire to do it? Things can't work on whims and desire.
So, talking about this, there is one Indus System River Authority, IRSA. Then we have Water and Power Development Authority, WAPDA. Then we have Ministry of Water. So, do you think these institutions, IRSA and WAPDA and Ministry of Water, and there might be other think tanks related to water, if I'm not wrong, there might be any research organization. So do you think whatever are our available institutions, do they have capacity to tackle this very, very alarming issue?
Unfortunately, our water managers have failed us in water management. That's why we have landed the crisis. A lot of other factors are driving our water planning. Water planning should be based on scientific realities. Rather than, as I told you in General Musharraf's era, he just ordered that let's have Raini Canal and Kachi Canal.
Be built.
Just build it.
But executive order issued.
As the American president said, drill baby drill. So they said, build baby build canals.
So which is why two have been built then.
I think this approach will not help us.
This approach is counterproductive?
It is counterproductive. After 80 years, end result, the sum total that we have landed in the crisis. That shows that our water managers have failed to plan it diligently or sensibly. That's why I'm saying that the whole drawing board, we need to go back to the drawing board and not taking positions because I'm from this province, I'm that province. It is a straight science. You know how much water is available, what was previously available, how your population is growing.
Water management and policy.
Exactly. Look at your population was at 8 times more than 80 years before.
Exactly.
And it is increasing
day by day,
exponentially growing. By the way, nobody talks of population, which is your real challenge. We say we are water scarce country. Sir, we are actually not just water scarce country. We have a huge population explosion. That is the cause of our education. That is the cause of our health
sector and water and agriculture.
Every sector. So
it's eating out everything.
Yeah. So we have to go back to the fundamentals and really think through that what need to be done to put the things in the right order.
So as far as budget is concerned, financial allocations are concerned, do you think financial allocations for the development of more water resources is enough? Could you share some data? How much financial allocations have been made for the development of more water resources?
For this Cholistan canal, this is the only canal where some PC1 has been developed out of these 6. And it says only phase 1 will cost us 211 billion rupees.
211 billion rupees.
That's only phase 1.
Cholistan.
Knowing bit of engineering, I personally think it will end up not less than 500 billion rupees if it happens. And the way our engineering projects, the whole history tells that escalation is several times. By the way, we forget the question. We built with very big fanfare hydropower dam in hydropower scheme in Kashmir.
Exactly.
More than
Neelam Jhelum. It is closed now.
500 to 600 billion rupees, and it's now not functional. This is we're talking of water managers' wisdom and planning and quality.
This is unbelievable.
And there are several
Neelam Jhelum, billions of rupees, and it is now closed.
It's closed. It's not working. Left bank outfall drain, LBOD project in Sindh. Right bank outfall drain, RBOD in Sindh. They are both complete failures, a disaster, not just a failure. They've created disaster. So the whole water management is flawed. This approach is flawed. Our engineering is flawed. Unfortunately, sorry to say, the experience says that this is the bad engineering, the bad planning, the bad financial management. This will not take us anywhere.
And what about this under construction, the Amir Bhasha Dam? To what extent this water reservoir will help?
It's now more than 2 decades. We keep listening every time a new end line for this project. Even if it happens, today Tarbela is 40 to 50% silted up.
40 to 50%
Tarbela is silted up. There's a life to every engineering project. So perhaps maybe another couple of decades, we won't have Tarbela practically speaking. So Bhasha is actually a replacement dam of Tarbela.
It is the replacement dam of Tarbela.
When people say that Bhasha will provide new water, it will not. Your Tarbela is...
It is on the same river?
It's on the same river. It can slightly increase Tarbela's life because it will trap some of the silt in the upstream. But again, when 40-50% is lost, so you can imagine that maybe 1, 2, 3 decades, I don't know how much engineering projections can actually tell us. But to me, Bhasha is nothing but a replacement of Tarbela.
So this World Bank is very close with Pakistan, and in the past it helped Pakistan in construction of water reservoirs. They do not construct dam without any planning and research. So don't you think so? The World Bank has never sensitized Pakistan about water priorities and building more water reservoirs and how to manage water resources, because the World Bank has one of the best research and development teams.
I think first that we should not rely on IMF and World Bank, anybody to come and tell us that what we have to do. We should think of our future ourselves.
Do we have proper experts?
No, we have experts in many. Our water experts are working for World Bank even. But I am referring to the one document of the World Bank 2 decades back. It said, the title is Water Economy of Pakistan Running Dry.
Water economy of Pakistan running dry 2 decades back.
2 decades before.
It warned.
It alarmed us. It told us that we are heading towards a dry future. So I think international organizations are producing a lot of research stuff. And as I said, that only 2 weeks before we got a fresh report from UN, there are a lot of research being done all over the world. And that is telling us that what is the future of water on this planet overall. I'm not just talking of Pakistan, I'm talking about the overall planet.
True.
So the world is looking for new strategies in future. We are only creating new conflicts. Rather than new strategies, we create new conflicts. It will not help us.
And just one sentence, how Pakistan could be made more sensitive from society, politician, people, and everything. One strategic message, how we could preserve more water in the days to come when water resources are extremely critical.
I think one thing that Pakistan is a federation, our decision making on waterfront,
decision
makers, they should be inclusive. And projects should not be designed and developed unilaterally.
People should be involved.
People should be
people's
involved.
Representatives should be there.
Upstream and lower riparians, they have recognized rights on water streams. We have provinces. We have northern areas from where these rivers are generated.
Exactly.
So everybody need to be consulted, taken on board, and decisions should be taken based on everyone's collective interest and benefit.
Thank you so much. The crux and the conclusion is that there should be inclusiveness, that everyone, every concerned person, province, society, leaders, experts should be taken into confidence, and people should be sensitized that water in Pakistan is depleting day by day, so please do not waste water, and there should be better water management. Thank you so much, Mr. Naseer Memon.
Thank you very much.
That despite your very busy schedule, you spared time and spoke in program Insight for Read News English. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz.